Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
We'll start in just a second. Welcome into this 2025 NCAA Women's March Madness postgame press conference. Before we begin, we have a few announcements. As a courtesy to your fellow media members as well as the coaches and student athletes, please silence your cell phones. Also, those working in the media room, please keep noise to a minimum. When asking questions, provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask. We do also have a microphone for use, so please utilize the mic for all questions. If you are joining us via Zoom, use the raise hand function for questions. We will address those in the room first and then get to Zoom if time allows. As a reminder, recording press conferences on cell phones or cameras is prohibited. At this time, we are now joined by the Oregon Ducks. We have with us head coach Kelly Graves, along with student athletes Deja Kelly and Nani Falatea. We will have an opening statement from Coach, followed by questions for the student athletes. Please save questions for Coach until after the student athletes have finished. We are going to allow them to go back to the locker room. With that, Coach, the floor is yours.
Okay. All right, thank you. Well, you know, it's a heck of a basketball game for sure. First, I want to give a shout out to Coach Ralph and her team. You know, they obviously didn't quit in that second half. Boy, they you know, there was a hole dug for them, but they just competed and showed the true team that they are. And that was a hell of a game. I'm proud though that we're the ones moving on. I was thinking to myself, when does a win feel like a loss, feel like a win? And I think we, you know, our emotional gamut hit all phases today. But I'm just really proud of our team. Before the game, I talked about our grit and our toughness. I think that's the one defining characteristic we've had all year, and we showed that late in the game with the defensive stops. So there was a lot of great plays. We'll have a chance to talk about that at some point here. But just a great team effort. Really proud of them, led by these two.
All right, questions from the room, front row here on the left, then we'll go to the far right.
Mitch Northam, SB Nation. Deja, it felt like, you know, for those first three quarters, you guys really imposed your will on the game and were playing the game your way. How was that successful, and then sort of what happened to kind of get away from that in the fourth?
Yeah, we knew what kind of team that they were. They like to play fast pace, really pressure. So we tried to keep it at our pace from jump and just try to control the pace, control our game, and get the right shots that we wanted, and ultimately get stops on the defensive end as well. So I thought we did a really solid job, especially those first three quarters. And you know, the game plan. We just stuck to the game plan. We were focusing on details. We were in our right spots positionally on defense. So I think we got good looks offensively. So I think overall, we did a really good job of just sticking to the overall game plan.
Front row here.
Ryan Clark with the Oregonian for Nani and Deja. Just your thoughts on the emotional resilience of the team despite the ups and downs of this game, and to be able to, you know, hang on down the stretch.
Deja, can you go first? And
Yes.
then,
Yeah, I mean, it's March, so I think that's what these games are about. There's lots of ups and downs. I think for us, we were all just so dialed in, and I'm really proud of our fight, even when things weren't going our way, and when Vanderbilt had their little stretch of turning us over and scoring off those baskets, which that's what they are really known for. But we were composed. I think that was the biggest thing for us. You know, once we did break their pressure in our stretch, we were able to get the shots that we wanted, and again, just control the game and control our pace and play at our pace. So I think, but the emotions were high, and I think we were just having fun out there. So I think that is what really led to us playing how we did, and overall just playing a really solid game.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the type of game that we play. I mean, we've been in this type of situation 10 times over this season, especially playing in the Big Ten. You know, it's really got us prepared for games like this, gritty games. So this was kind of just a perfect game for us.
more questions from the room, again here, and then we'll come back over to the other side.
Ryan Clark with the Oregonian. Kelly, just what can you take away from that stretch where Vanderbilt was able to come back and be able to force overtime?
Well, I mean, they're a great team. This is what they do. They average 21.5 points a game off turnover. So we knew we had to take care of the ball. Our game plan was quite simple, really. We wanted to control pace. We wanted to defensively at least win the first 8 seconds. They're an elite level team in the first 8 seconds of a possession, and we did that by, putting that little 1-2-2 tempo press out there to just kind of slow them down and really, to your point, for most of the game, we played the game at our tempo, exactly what we wanted to do. And then we just kind of lost our composure a little bit, and credit them. They got after us, and then, as a coach, I should have done a better job of kind of getting us, back under control. But ultimately we did and got the win. But, credit them. Credit them.
Just a reminder to address questions to the student athletes first. We'll get to Coach after they're done here on the front row.
Mitch Northam, SB Nation. Deja, you hit a couple big free throws late in the game. Did that feel familiar?
Yeah, I didn't hit enough. So I'm mad at myself about that. But yes, definitely familiar. Again, it feels great to play in this gym. Of course, I think we all had some big plays down the stretch and all hit some big free throws. Scotty hit some good big free throws for us. Me and a huge rebound. So I think overall, for me personally, yes, it was great and felt familiar. But I think everyone stepped up today.
Other questions from the room? Front row? Just wait 1 second while we get the mic to you. We keep going back and forth.
One mic?
It's a small room, too.
Deja, how bad did you want a rematch with Duke?
Honestly, I wasn't really thinking about that much. Obviously, I know we're on their side of the bracket, and but I think for me, it was just for us, it was about taking it one game at a time. I think that's what the focus has to be in order to get wins and continue to build in March, because anything can happen. So if you look too far ahead, then you're not focused in the moment and focusing on what you have to do for that game in that moment. So I think now that I know that we're playing them, I'm super excited. I'm excited for the team, and we'll get to start scouting, but. Yeah, I'm really happy that we got this one and we got this one out the way.
They got to beat Lehigh.
And they got to beat. Well, you're right. Either team.
I'm just kidding.
I would be happy to play. I know. I'm like, well, either team, we would be more than happy to play. But yes.
Any other questions from the room? We do have one on Zoom. Brett, if you have a question for the student athletes, the floor is yours.
Yeah, Brett Taylor, KZI 9 Sports in Eugene. Deja, yesterday you said in the press conference that you felt like your guys' depth would come in big in this game, and it felt like without that depth and the play that you guys got from the bench, maybe you guys don't win this game. Can you just speak a little bit about, some of the play off the bench, Katie, Sophia, and so many others contributed in this game to help you guys move on to the round of 32? 100%.
We wouldn't have won that game without Katie herself doing what they did all game, but Katie especially, she carried us in that first half, really. Came in, got some buckets for us, found teammates, was getting stops defensively. Soph came up huge defensively, hit some huge threes in the corner. So I think, when we say we have depth, like, we mean it, and it shows. Like, we are not winning games without the protection from our bench, and they come up huge and they know how important they are, and we just remind each other every day how important every single piece is and how we need everyone to bring their piece, and that's exactly what our bench did today.
Seeing no other questions from Zoom, any other in the room? Not seeing any. The student athletes, you're welcome to go.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. That means
Okay.
Q&A time.
Yeah. What you got?
Front row for Coach.
Ryan Clark with Oregonian. Kelly, this team had some ups and downs down the stretch of the season, but it seemed like it, through that stretch built a sort of mental fortitude that obviously, as you know, can come in handy in March. What's your evaluation of how that showed itself down the overtime stretch?
Yeah, well, you kind of answered your question right there. This is the kind of team that we've been all year long. I mean, I think we're 5-0 in games decided by 2 points or less. So we've been in a lot of these kind of games that can go either way, and we just seem to make the right plays. I mean, we took a couple of charges that fouled a couple of their players out. That doesn't really show up in the box score necessarily. Those are winning plays. Amina Muhammad's offensive rebound on the missed free throw they're late. That's a winning play. Our players just kind of know how to make winning plays, and sometimes it's not pretty. In fact, if you've seen us play a lot this year, oftentimes it's not pretty. But we just kind of, make the plays when they count. And I think the most important thing is they believe. My team believes that we can win these games, even when things, weren't going right, there for a good portion of that last quarter.
More questions from the room? All right, let's go in the middle here, front row, and then they can pass over to the left.
Lauren Rouse with the Next. Michaela Blakes had 26 points and posed a lot of challenges for your defense. What stood out to you about her game and how she handled her moments as a freshman?
Yeah,
and then what was your approach to containing her, if you could speak on that?
Yeah, containment is what we talked about. There's no way you stop her. Honestly, I don't sleep well during the season anyway, as you can tell from the bags under my eyes. But to watch her, and I bet I saw 8 or 9 of their games, she's an incredible player. I told our team, even though it's a distant memory for them, most of them don't even know who this is, but she reminds me of Jordyn Canada with a jump shot. And she's just so quick, and we talked about, them as being a jet airplane. If you let them take off, we couldn't catch them, so we had to just kind of defend with 5, make sure we were in good position. And even still with the amount of attention that we gave her, she still puts up 26 points because that's what great players do. I'm really, excited to watch how she progresses as a player. She's definitely one of the best players in the country, and she proved it tonight. It's unfortunate that we don't get a chance to see her again, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Coach Ralph and their whole team.
Front row.
Yeah, Mitch Northam, SB Nation. Kelly, this is your 10th win as a double-digit seed, I think, which is the most of any active coach in the country. Does your program kind of thrive on like an underdog mentality when you get on this stage, you think?
Sure, we'll take that. Yeah, maybe I'm underachieving during the regular season, and we should have a higher seed. I don't know. But yeah, we kind of preached that. As soon as we got the bid on TV, the first thing I told the team was, this is kind of where Oregon women's basketball was put on the map. 8 years ago as a 10 seed here in Durham, and and there's no reason. We talked all week. It doesn't matter what your seed is at this point. It's who you play and how you play. And we played a great team, but we played well. And yeah, we're moving on. So no secret sauce, unfortunately.
Maybe one more from the room if someone has one before we go to Zoom. All right, here, front row.
Lindsay Gibbs with Power Plays. Coach, obviously, this part of the country, a lot of reporters are really familiar with Deja from her time at Carolina. What did her leadership bring tonight in particular, and how have you seen her grow this season?
Well, scoring-wise, she hasn't had her best season. But efficiency-wise, one of the reasons she came was to prepare herself for the league or for the pros, and she is efficiency-wise having the best season of her career. Her rebound numbers are the best ever, her two-point percentage the best ever, assist-to-turnover ratio the best ever, and then I'm glad you talked about her leadership. There were a couple times, twice tonight, I had to say, okay, Deja, sit down, during a timeout, because she's coaching them. She's talking to them. You saw a couple of times Katie Fiso, our freshman, she was talking to her on the court in big moments, and that's the kind of person that we were hoping we would get out of Deja, and that we did get. She's exceeded every expectation, so we're really happy for her success, and it's neat if Duke's fortunate enough to win this game, that she'll have a different chance. We won't have to motivate her in any way, for sure. Not that we would have anyway. So, yeah, we're just, we've got good players. They're great kids. We've got awesome chemistry, and they play for one another, and they're really connected. And I'm proud of them, man. I'm really proud of them. And I'm proud of you guys, by the way. How I tell our team, always sit in the front row or the middle, the inverted T, front, middle. You get better grades. So you guys got the majority of the questions, so I'm giving you all A's. Where are my D students back there in the corners? All right. Yeah. Okay.
Wait, we do have a couple more.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Sorry. On Zoom, we have Brenna.
I thought that
if you
would
want
be
to
a
go ahead.
mic drop.
It's a good mic drop. Sorry, Brenna. Can you go ahead and ask your question?
Yeah. Kelly, I just want to let you know I am seated in the front row at the press room in Seattle.
Okay.
So I'm joining in spirit.
On Zoom, you're the new student athlete now.
Yes.
Zoom classes.
You know, for a while in this program, it was kind of assumed that you guys would be making deep NCAA tournament runs. If we're counting 2020, and I am, it would have been 5 straight Sweet 16s for you all, and then the last 3 years happened. Just what does it mean to you to be back on this stage, and not only be back on this stage, but win a game on this stage?
Well, it means a lot. The last couple of years, we just weren't the program that we'd been for a variety of reasons, and that's why this has been so sweet, Michelle, honestly. I've been re-energized. This team has made me, even at 62 years old, feel a lot younger, and they've been fun to coach, and it's really given me, my love for the profession, has gotten even better. So, yeah, and, we're not focused on looking backward. If I look too far backward 5 years ago, that was an amazing team that we had a chance to win it all, and we didn't, and we've kind of been up and down since. But hopefully this win will get us kind of on the right trajectory back to right back to where we want to be as a program.
We have time for one more. Alec, you are up. I'm sorry to the others on Zoom, but we need to go. Coach, we'll have one more. I'll make it quick.
Yeah, Kelly, Alec Dietz with the Eugene Register Guard. I just wanted to ask about Peyton's game. You talked about things going unnoticed. She grabs the rebound. She draws the offensive foul on Blakes to foul her out. She hits the jumper to put you ahead in overtime. I know this is her first NCAA tournament game. So from your vantage point, how much did this mean to her, and how huge was she down the stretch?
She's been our heart and soul the last 2 years. Last year she didn't get to play because of her injury in the first game of the season. She was with us every step of the way during a tough time, and then I'm just happy to see her rewarded for her hard work. And, this is an experience she's going to remember for the rest of her life, but she means a ton to us. One of my favorite all-time players that I've ever coached, and I'm happy for her. All her family came down from Ohio, so it was really neat to see everybody. And I don't know why I'm looking over there, but anyway, yeah, Peyton means everything to us. She is a Duck through and through. She's what makes us who we are.
Well, Coach, thank you so much.
You.
Congratulations.
Thank you all.
Good luck in the next one.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you for the time. Just get you some waters here before we
Thank you.
start.
Thank you.
We're now joined by the Vanderbilt Commodores. We have with us head coach Shay Ralph, along with student athlete Jordyn Oliver. Again, we'll have an opening statement from Coach, followed by questions for Jordyn. We'll then allow Jordyn to go, and then Coach can take questions after that. Coach, the floor is yours.
First, credit to Oregon. I thought they played really well today. They shot the ball really well. And then credit to my team and our players and the growth that we continue to have. Obviously not the result we wanted, but, that doesn't take away from the season that we had and the position that we put ourselves in. And I think right now, especially when you're younger, it's hard to see that. So our locker room is, struggling a little bit. But my hope is that as leaders and coaches and people that understand the value of struggle, that they see when they get through this moment, the growth that they've had, and that our team has had, and that our program has had, and that they know that we as coaches and our Vanderbilt community, and hopefully some people across the women's basketball community who have watched that growth, can appreciate the fact that these kids believed in themselves and me and my coaching staff, and more than anything, in Vanderbilt basketball. When we took this over almost 4 years ago, this program wasn't even close to where it is now. And that is a direct result of the kids, this one in particular, that's why she's here, Jordyn Oliver in particular, the belief and the commitment that they made to me and our program. And I can't thank them enough for that. I can't thank her enough for that. We are not the same team. I'm not the same coach without Jordyn Oliver. So as much as I think we've helped them, I can tell you that I speak for our entire staff in that they have made us better people and coaches. I'm grateful to have been on the journey. I'm sad that it's over, but it is just a moment, and we'll continue the march.
A reminder to those on Zoom, just use the raise hand function. If you do have a question, we'll get to you after we take questions from the room. So questions in the room for Jordyn. Front row.
Yeah, Mitch Northam, SB Nation. Jordyn, you guys erased a 19-point deficit, that big fourth quarter comeback. What worked for y'all in that fourth quarter that maybe wasn't earlier in the game?
I think the biggest thing we talked about during halftime was getting our defense to translate to our offense. And I feel like we picked up our defense in the fourth quarter, and then we got offense going. I feel like we always start on defensive side, then offense gets going for us for sure.
I think I saw a question from the second row first, and then we'll come to the front row.
Yeah, J.O., what was your approach to that overtime, especially after Michaela, Camille, and Leilani had all fouled out?
We got 14 people on our team for a reason. One person goes down, the next person steps up. I feel like Coach Ralph has been teaching us that. So it was a bummer when they fouled out, but we knew that the next person coming up was going to step up for us.
Front row.
Elena Morris, Vandy 24/7. Shay just talked about what you mean to her, but what does Coach Ralph mean to you? Just what was it like playing for her for a few years?
Y'all are going to make me cry here on this podium. Coach Ralph took a chance on a kid. When I left this university here, I didn't know if I wanted to play basketball anymore. And I remember the day Coach Ralph called me, and I was like, where's Vanderbilt? And I sat on the phone with her for an hour and a half, and I said, that woman's going to be my coach. And last year, she stuck with me. I was a little hard-headed. And this year I grew, and this woman has done everything for me. And I told her, like a week ago, yeah. I'm forever in debt to Coach Ralph because she believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And I just love her so much.
Any other questions from the room for Jordyn? Third row, middle.
Hey, J.O., Connor Campbell, Vanderbilt Hustler. You have meant so much to this program, both on the court and culturally. What has the experience with Vanderbilt been like for you, and how are you going to take this into the next chapter of your life, wherever that may be?
I love Vanderbilt, honestly. Between Coach Ralph, Dr. Lee, the diversity here is just amazing. How they accept us for who we are. They love us for us. They love J.O. for J.O. And I can't wait to take that into the next steps.
Yeah. She wants a job.
I want a job here. That's how much I love Vanderbilt. But hopefully I'll be here because that's how much I love Vanderbilt. And I want to keep working with our program and building this legacy that I left.
Let's take one final question from Zoom. I think, Brandon, you have your hand raised.
Yes, Brandon Bigsby, Vandy 24/7. First of all, Jordyn, congratulations on what was a great collegiate career. You've talked about how special Vanderbilt is to you. You spent some time at Baylor and spent time at Duke, but what is it about Vanderbilt as a program and as a school that does hold such a special place in your heart?
Firstly, those are two great institutions as I'm sitting in the building of one. But I think the difference is Coach Ralph. Like I said from the beginning, she holds a special place in my heart. She is literally my second mom. Coach Ralph gets us going. Without Coach Ralph, we would not be Vanderbilt women's basketball today. So it's all a credit to her.
All right, Jordyn, thank you for your time. You're free to go.
Love you, Coach.
All right. Questions for Coach? Second row.
Yeah, Aria Gerson, the Tennessean. Shay, what was it that kind of went south for you there, especially in that first half? And then what was it that allowed you to make the comeback in the fourth quarter and a little bit, to force overtime?
It's a good question. It's one that I'll probably think about for a while. Transparently, I think the way that we showed up today, both in the first quarter and the first half and the second half, was what we've seen all year, right? We've had one team that plays, whether it's, you can attribute it to whatever. I mean, today I thought we looked a little bit nervous, but I've intentionally tried to make it feel loose and free. But we do have a young team. So, my coach Tom, my husband, tells me all the time to relinquish the illusion of control, right? So is it, making sure that we're prepared, but that we're also feeling light and free. And some of these kids have never been in the NCAA tournament, and hopefully will come to many more. And some, it's their first and last. Some, their college career is ending in this tournament. And I think you saw a little bit of that in the first half. I also think, for whatever reason, this team likes to fight out of a hole. And we dug ourselves a pretty big one, and then we showed up like the team that I truly believe we are for most of the second half. And unfortunately, we ran out of time, and, we had some pretty key people sitting on the bench in moments where it would have been more helpful to have them out on the court. But I know enough about basketball in March to know that most of what you learn is in moments like this, is in like the struggle and the absolute suck of it, because I feel like we underachieved. And then I know when I look at my team and I look at where we're going that we haven't. But that's what it feels like when you know that you're capable of playing like we did in that second half for an entire game. And then it wouldn't even have been an overtime game, I don't think. So, but again, credit to Oregon, because we didn't play that way, and they took full advantage of that.
Let's go front row here, and then we'll come over here on the other side of the room.
Coach, one of the reasons I was really excited to be at this game was that I grew up in Fayetteville, and I graduated from Terry Sanford High School, and I remember watching you play.
Oh, gosh.
And I know this wasn't the outcome that we wanted, but, what does it mean to you to come back and, play a game so close to home?
Yeah, it means everything. I was so excited when we got the draw to come here. My mom was not. My mom went to North Carolina, so she had that was kind of an issue, for her. But my uncle did play football here at Duke, and I grew up right down the road. For those of you that don't know, Fayetteville's like an hour and a half. Like, my entire family's here. And, I wouldn't be the person that I am without the things that the people that I grew up with, the things that I went through in North Carolina. And so it's great to be back here. And I'm also really happy to be representing Vanderbilt in a new phase of my life. Kind of full circle for me as a player. And she talked about her being stubborn. I was probably the most stubborn player of all time, both in high school and college. But all of those moments that I just talked to you guys about, and a lot of them were in high school, made me the coach, I think, and the person that I am now. And it's exactly why I do what I do. So it's kind of neat to be here. I would have liked a better result, but being in North Carolina will always be special.
Front row.
Yeah, Mitch Northam, SB Nation. Coach, you mentioned how you have a young team. I'm just kind of wondering sort of the impact of somebody like J.O., who's, I think this is her 6th season in college basketball through all the injuries.
Yeah.
And how she sort of helped you lay the foundation for what the future is to come for this young team.
There's layers to that. So the first is that when J.O. came to school here, she completed her 2nd season. She was, had been at Baylor, had been at Duke, high achieving programs at the time, and had also been in a McDonald's All-American. And so when, people look at the additions that we're making to our roster, they see these things and they're like, oh, I wonder why she chose there. So she helped lay the foundation in that way, where now, because she chose to come to Vanderbilt when she could have gone anywhere, people are starting to turn their heads. Number one. Number two, she's just a really great human being. So that helps us now recruit other really great human beings and other players, whether they're in high school or they go into the transfer portal, that maybe just didn't find the right fit the first or second time. And then she can talk to them about, you know, what we've been able to do here, how she's contributed to that, and then be a leadership example and voice on the team and in the locker room. And as coaches, you have got to have that. I need somebody in there that has my back, right? And that talks to the younger guys about how they're growing and what they need to learn. And I've been through this before, and you're going to be okay, and take a deep breath, or, you know, kick them in the butt a little bit. She is that. She is the coach in the locker room. The last piece of it is, there's no way that we're the team we are without her. She's got the highest IQ on our team. She has somewhat of a limited skill set because she can't shoot outside the free throw line, and we paid for that today. But we don't win games without her on the floor. She moves the ball, she screens, she defends, whatever physical limitations she have, her brain and her heart have helped her overcome that. And, you know, I'll go down swinging every day of the week with a Jordyn Oliver. And so not only has she helped lay the foundation for our program, but she's left a legacy inside of the people that are here.
We have about 3 more minutes, so maybe 2 questions. Middle row, third row, right here. Yes.
Rhea Patney, Vanderbilt Hustler. Coach, Leilani Kapanis gave you huge minutes today, both offensively and defensively, and with the game-tying shot. Could you speak to her impact in this game and throughout the season?
Yes, so, you know, Leilani's a kid I wish we could have for another 3 years. And but I am grateful that we had her for 1 year. The one thing that I love about her is that she shows up every day for a battle. And I think that having her on our team, the way that she plays out there, she plays like that every day in practice. And that is elevated, similar to Michaela, has elevated the level of competitiveness. She also is a 100% believer, right? So she comes in the game, we could be, and today she did, we were down 20. But she's done it several times in practice and in games where she comes in and she lifts a level of energy and belief. Now that's hard to, like, does it show up on here? It doesn't. She did a lot of other things that do, but that's just because that's who she is. And I think, you know, for those of you that don't get to sit in the locker room or do what I get to do, you can't coach that. You can't coach a kid to have that level of belief when everything has gone wrong. I don't think that she, you know, I know that there were points in the year where she was really disappointed with her production, that she wanted to, you know, to be more of a piece, but she always found a way to help impact our team in a positive way, to help us win, to help us today, to get in the position to win the game. And so when you know, when you look at that, again, similar to J.O., you don't have the team that we had this year without a Leilani Kapanis. And I would have loved to coach her for a little bit longer so that I could see her reach her full potential. But I'm hopeful that the lessons and the things and I'm hopeful that what she learned here will make her the player that she always wanted to be when she plays pro. The things that she learned here.
We only have a minute left, so third row back here, just trying to, so sorry to everyone in the room. This will be our last question. Sorry to Zoom as well.
No worries.
Sorry.
Hi, Coach Ralph. Grace with the Vanderbilt Hustler. How much do you think foul trouble plays into the outcome of this game? You know, Camille, she played 9 minutes in your first half, and then when you finally got her worked back into the game and things were really going your way with both her and Michaela, then Michaela got hit with, I believe, her 4th foul. She wasn't out long. She was able to stay in the game. But how much do you think the outcome of this game changes if both of them are able to, you know, kind of stay in the game and create the production they have all season?
Yeah. I'd like to think the outcome would be different, you know, but I also know enough to know that I can't think that way, you know, and we have to do is look back at, you know, what are the things we can control, because, again, we've been in foul trouble before. How could we have been more prepared in that way, if I'm looking at myself, so that we could have a little bit better outcome in the overtime, and then let go of, you know, blaming or pointing fingers. I'm just not that kind of person. So I would like to think if we had our best players on the floor for most of the game that the outcome would have been different, but that usually doesn't happen, and in March you have to prepare and expect everything, prepare for the worst, hope for the best kind of thing. And so I hated that for our players because in March I think players should decide games. And, I don't have a lot of control over it. I haven't all year. And I'm not a coach that's going to spend half the game bitching at the referees either. So to me, we just have to be better so that doesn't happen. And in the future, I think our younger players will grow from this.
Coach, just one more. I think
Yeah, of course.
Front row here.
Just a whole picture looking at this season from November to March, just kind of what made it special, especially having someone like Michaela Blakes as a freshman coming in, but just this entire year, what has it meant to you as a coach?
I think what's made it special is the growth that we've had. And I know that when I sit back and I'm asking the players to do something that I'm not capable of doing right now, right? Because I'm still thinking about, it sucks that we lost the game. We should be playing on Sunday, and we're not. And why is that? So I'll be thinking about that, but I will give myself time when I step away to recognize the growth that the program has had, the investment of the administration and the chancellor and the entire Vanderbilt community. I mean, look at everything that our athletic department is doing right now. How cool is it to be part of that? Now, I get to be part of that. And I think we're a big piece of why Vanderbilt athletics is moving in the right direction. I think we're great representatives of the university and of the standards that the university has for all students. And I want to keep moving in the right direction. I just hate losing. I hate it, So I have to remember in those moments when I feel that to practice what I preach with the players and understand that, my steps are ordered as are theirs. And I know I'm here for the right reasons. I know I'm here for a reason, and I know they are as well. And together, we're going to keep this thing moving in the right direction. We'll be a force to be reckoned with from here on out.
Coach, thank you for your time. Congratulations on a great season.
Thank you. Thank you all.
A couple of closing announcements. As a reminder, Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us.